Jennifer Lopez and ex-Marc Anthony's post-divorce dynamic revealed. Source: she's one of the most iconic entertainers of our time, a singer, actor, businesswoman, and global pop culture force. Her life has been lived in the spotlight. But behind the music videos and movie premieres lies another story. One of relationships, love, heartbreak, family, and quiet transformation. Tonight, we go beyond the headlines to explore something less talked about. The post-divorce dynamic between Jennifer Lopez and her ex-husband Marc Anthony. A relationship that continues to shape both of their lives long after their split. Divorced but still connected. Separated but still supportive. This is the untold chapter of their lives. Let's begin. Microphone. Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony met in the late 90s, two rising stars with music in their hearts and fire in their ambitions. They married in 2004, uniting pop and Latin music royalty, and soon welcomed twins, Maximilian Max and Emmy Maribel, born in 2008. For a time, they were one of entertainment's most powerful couples, and by all accounts, deeply in love. But as so often happens with intense relationships, they faced challenges that eventually led them down different paths. In 2011, after 7 years of marriage, Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony announced their decision to separate. Their statement, calm, amicable, and respectful, stood in contrast to many Hollywood breakups. In interviews later, Anthony noted the split was mutual and nothing sensationalistic. But Lopez herself wasn't shy about the emotional toll. She later described the divorce as painfully difficult, saying she felt like a failure and struggled deeply with the end of the partnership, especially as they navigated co-parenting their young twins. This wasn't just a headline, it was real human heartbreak. With their children at the center of both their worlds, the relationship transformed. Lopez and Anthony did not retreat into silence or acrimony. Instead, they leaned into co-parenting, and over time, a new dynamic began to emerge. Jennifer later said they were good how we are right now, emphasizing their friendship and ability to work together as parents. She said, "We are like best friends, we're good with the kids, and we're even working together." That cooperation wasn't just lip service. They appeared on stage together, supported each other's careers, and shared key family moments. By putting the wellness of their children first, they built a foundation of mutual respect, even after love became friendship. One of the most surprising, and powerful, chapters in their post-divorce relationship came through artistic collaboration. Years after their split, Lopez invited Marc Anthony to work with her on creative projects, including music and performances. She later said that working together helped repair certain parts of our relationship that had been fractured by marriage and divorce. It wasn't nostalgia. It wasn't romantic reconciliation. It was healing, recognizing their shared history and common ground, and using that to build something better. In a rare recent comment, Lopez reflected on her connection to Marc, confirming, "Honestly, we're always going to be great friends. I'm always going to be there for him. He's always going to be there for me." This isn't the relationship of former lovers who can't stand being in the same room. It's the relationship of two adults determined to put family first. Co-parenting isn't always easy, especially in the glare of public attention, but Lopez and Anthony have navigated it with grace. This is a far cry from bitter exes. It's a modern friendship. One built on shared history, mutual respect, and a lifetime commitment to their children. Recently, sources say that Anthony has been a supportive figure in Lopez's life again, beyond just parenting. Following difficult personal turns, including Lopez's highly publicized split from Ben Affleck, insiders say Marc has been there as a friend and confidant. According to the source, Lopez has praised how compassionate and supportive Anthony has been during her challenges. He could have judged, could have taken a different stance, but he instead chose support. This is not a love story revived. It's something deeper. Two grown individuals showing up for each other when it matters most. In a world that often paints breakups as war zones, the story of Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony stands apart. It's not fairytale romance. It's not bitter rivalry. It is, at its core, evolution. Here are the lessons embedded in their journey. Marc healthy co-parenting. Marc emotional growth. Marc respect beyond romance. Marc choosing kindness in adversity. For millions of fans, Their story is proof that relationships can change shape without losing humanity. Today, Lopez continues to focus on her career, her children, and her own personal journey. Her twins, now adults and young adults themselves, have become a central force in her life. Marc Anthony, meanwhile, remains a celebrated artist and a devoted father in his own right, with a full family life beyond their shared history, but never severing the bond they once built together. And while they walk separate paths romantically, their post-divorce dynamic is defined not by what was lost, but by what was gained: resilience, mutual respect, and an enduring family legacy. Love doesn't always follow a straight line. Sometimes it bends, transforms, and grows into something unexpected. For Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony, the end of marriage was not the end of connection, but rather the start of a new kind of partnership. Not lovers, not strangers, but co-parents, collaborators, and friends. That's their truth. They were once one of the most powerful couples in music, a global superstar and a Latin music icon. Their marriage ended more than a decade ago. So why are sources now revealing that their bond may be stronger than ever? This isn't a reconciliation story. It's something far more surprising. Because when it comes to Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony, divorce didn't mean disconnection. It meant evolution. Tonight, we uncover the real story behind their post-divorce dynamic, what changed, what healed, and why insiders say their relationship today is built on something deeper than romance. In 2004, the entertainment world was stunned. Just months after ending her engagement to another high-profile celebrity, Jennifer Lopez quietly married Marc Anthony. To some, it seemed sudden. To those who knew them, it made perfect sense. They had met years earlier, an instant spark, shared culture, shared ambition, shared music. Marc once told her, "One day you're going to be my wife." Years later, that prediction came true. Together, they became a powerhouse couple, dominating Latin and mainstream music markets simultaneously. Then in 2008, everything changed. They welcomed twins, Max and Emmy. Suddenly, this wasn't just about careers. It was about family. And for a while, it worked. But behind the scenes, pressures mounted. In 2011, they announced their separation. The statement was calm, respectful, mutual. But Jennifer later admitted privately and publicly, it devastated her. She described feeling like she had failed, not just as a wife, but as a partner who believed love should conquer everything. Marc, for his part, avoided public drama. No mudslinging, no public blame. And that decision would quietly define their future. Because instead of turning children, if you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity relationships and personal evolution, subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines.